Hello booktuber friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Robin, and in this video we're going to be doing my highly ambitious spring TBR. And we're going to start with my physical, and then we will get to my Kindle hopefuls. I'm hoping to read A Song to Drown Rivers by Anne Lang. I've heard this is a sad book, but I got this from a free little library, and I've been just looking at this cover and the sprayed edges for so long that I am excited to get to it. And this one is about Ishi's beauty is seen as a blessing to the villagers of Hugh, convinced that the best fate for a girl is to marry well and support her family. When Hishi draws the attention of the famous young military advisor, Von Lee, he presents her with a rare opportunity to use her beauty as a weapon, one that could topple the rival neighboring kingdom of Wu, improve the lives of her people, and avenge her sister's murder. All she has to do is infiltrate the enemy palace and spy, seduce their immortal king, and weaken them from within. I don't want to read more so I don't spoil myself, but I've been wanting to get to this. And I just recently purchased The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith, and I've been hearing a lot of people talk about it on BookTube, and it's just so pretty with the pink. The insides are gorgeous. High society girls are expected to bargain for qualities that will win them suitors. A rare talent for piano in exchange for one's happiest childhood memory. A perfect smile for one's ability to taste. But Ivy's debut season arrives with a shocking twist. Our competition to marry the Queen's Fae's son, Prince Bram. It's a prize that could save Ivy's family from ruin and free her older sister from the bargain that destroyed her. Yet every glittering Fae deal has a rotting heart. An endless lavish balls, vicious competition, and a dangerous alliance with the prince's brackish younger brother, Prince Hennet. Ivy realizes that at the center of this contest lies a dark plot that could destroy all of England and her heart with it. I've heard this being compared to The Selection as well as The Cruel Prince, which I also have The Cruel Prince in my pile, and I have not read The Cruel Prince. So when I read The Cruel Prince, I want to get to The Rose Bargain soon after. But The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Judy was 7 when her parents were murdered, and she and her 2 sisters were stolen away to live in the treacherous high court of Fairy. 10 years later, Jude wants nothing more than to belong there. But many of the Fae despise humans, especially Prince Carden, the youngest and wicked son of the High King. To win a place at the court, Jude must defy him and face the consequences. Now, I've heard if you go into this series, don't think of it as a romantasy, think of it as more of politics. So I'm wondering if it has anything to do with The Rose Bargain where there's no romance. So we'll have to see and compare the two when I'm done reading The Cruel Prince. But I'm excited to see, because a lot of people have liked The Rose Bargain. And I have the last 2 books of the Dark Artifacts here with me. I still have to read Lord of Shadows, and that will be on my April hopefuls spoiler. And I'm excited to get to it. I forgot who the main characters were for this one. I believe the Emma and Julian. And they cannot be together because they're both protectors. One's a shadow hunter, and one is their parabatai, and they are not, by the rules of the shadow hunter court, they are not allowed to be together, and they have had feelings for each other. So I'm curious how that's going to end, because at the ending of the first book it was interesting, and I wasn't sure if I'm going to like this story, but we'll have to see. But these are my hopefuls to get to, because I've been wanting to crack into the Shadow series because I only have 4 left, and then I can go to the side stories. So we'll see if I can get to those. This is actually my April book club pick, and that is Heaven Official's Blessing by Tan Guan Sifu. And I'm excited to get to this because I've heard like good things about it. I've watched the first episode of it on Netflix, and it piqued my interest to get the book because, as you can tell, this is a bit chunky, but it does have pictures in it. So I'm excited to get to the story. A god fallen, a ghost risen, born the crown prince of the prosperous kingdom, Zhang Lin was renowned for his beauty, strength, and purity. His years of dedicated study and noble deeds allowed him to ascend to godhood, but those who rise may also fall, and fall he does. Cast from the heavens and banished to the world below, 800 years after his mortal life, Zhang Lin has ascended to godhood for the 3rd time. Angering most of the gods in the process to repay his debts, he ascends to the mortal realm to hunt down violent ghosts and troubling spirits who prey on the living. Along his travels, he meets the fascinating and brilliant Song Ling, a young man with whom he feels an instant connection. Yet Song Ling is clearly more than he appears. What mysteries lie behind that carefree smile? And I have One Dark Window by Rachel Gillick. I've heard so many things about this book, and it's about Elsa Spindle needs more than luck to save safe in the eerie mist-locked kingdom of Blunder. She needs a monster. She calls him the Nightmare, an ancient merciful spirit trapped in her head who protects her. He keeps her secrets, but nothing comes for free, especially magic. When Elsa meets a mysterious highwayman on the forest road, her life takes a tragic turn. Thrust through a world of shadow and deception, she joins a dangerous quest to cure Blunder of the dark magic infecting it. Except the highwayman just so happens to be the king's own nephew, captain of the most dangerous men in Blunder, and guilty of high treason. I heard it has something to do with cards as well, and the nightmares in her head, I believe. So I'm curious to see what everybody is talking about with this book. And I want to get, and this is my last book for my physical TBR besides going to my Kindle, and that is Where the Dark Stands Still by A.B. Wernick. I am probably going to be picking this up next week since this is my book club pick for March. I am slightly behind on my reading just because of the time difference. It has been very tiring month because of that, but I am most likely going to be getting to this next week. I also got this from a lovely booktuber named Lindsay from She's Booked and Busy, and I always put my gifts, if I get a gift from somebody, I always put it in my books. So let's see what Where the Dark Stands Still is about. What dark secrets lie hidden in the spirit wood? This scout knows that magic is monstrous and its practitioners are monsters. She has done everything possible to suppress her own magic to disastrous consequences, just desperate to be free of it. Liska flees her small village to delve into the dangerous demon-infested spirit wood to steal a mythical fern flower. If she plucks it, she can use its one wish to banish her powers. Everyone who has sought the fern flower has fallen prey to unknown horrors. So when Liska is caught by the demon warden of the wood, called Leslie, a bargain seems better than death. 1 year of servitude in exchange for the fern flower's wish. Can't wait to get to this one. I read a little bit into it. I think I got to the first chapter of it, and it seems pretty interesting, so I can't wait to get back to it. Now, on to my Kindle reads. Let's go to Goodreads and go to my folder that I set up, because I like to be organized with my TBRs and which ones I'm planning to read for whatever month or season. Okay, the first one is Her Radiant Curse by Elizabeth Lim. This is from the Six Crimson Crane series. I have been wanting to finish this series because I absolutely love the first book. I didn't mind the second book, but I could definitely tell what everyone's talking about with the differences between the two books. And this is before the Six Crimson Cranes. This is the prequel to the Six Crimson Cranes. So I want to know what happens before the story with, I believe it's her mother and her aunt from Six Crimson Cranes series. And if I can get any spoilers. Okay, here we go. One sister must fall for the other to rise. Shani was not born a monster, but when her own father offers her a sacrifice to the demon witch, she is forever changed, cursed with a serpent's face. Shani is the exact opposite of her beautiful sister, Fanya. The only person in the village who looks at Shani and doesn't see a monster. The only person she loves and trusts. Now 17, Fanya is to be married off in a vulgar contest that will enrich the coffers of the village leaders. Only Shani, who's had to rely on her strength and cunning all these years, can defend her sister against the cruelest of suitors. But in doing so, she becomes the target of his wrath. Launching a gristle battle royal, a quest over land and sea, a romance between sworn enemies, and a choice that will strand Shani's heart to its breaking point. And the next one I want to get to is Sword Heart by Ting Fisher. And this is about Hala. Hala is a housekeeper who has suddenly inherited her great uncle's estate, and unfortunately his relatives Sarkis is an immortal swordsman trapped in a prison of enchanted steel. When Hala draws a sword and imprisons him, Sarkis finds himself attempting to defend his new wielder against everything from bandits and roving inquisitors to her own in-laws. And the sword itself may prove to be the greatest threat of all. This, I've heard, is probably one of Tinker Fisher's best fantasies. So I'm willing to read this one, but I don't know if Tinker Fisher is really my cup of tea. Miss Percy's Pocket Guide to the Care and Feeding of British Dragons. Miss Mildred Percy inherits a dragon. But we've already got ahead of ourselves. Miss Mildred Percy is a spinster. She does not dance, she has long stopped dreaming, and she certainly does not have adventures. That is until her great uncle has audacity to leave her an inheritance, one that includes a dragon's egg. The egg as eggs are wont to do, besides the hat, and Miss Mildred Percy is suddenly thrust out of the role of spinster and general wallflower into the unrepresentative position of spinster and keeper of dragons. But England has not seen a dragon since, well, ever. And now Mildred must contend with raising a dragon that should not exist, kindling a romance with a humble vicar, and embarking on an adventure she never thought she could be hers for the taking. I've wanted to read this, and it went on sale on Amazon, so I can't wait to get to this book. And the next book is one that's on my 25 to 25 I want to get to, and that is Aragon by Christopher Polani. One boy, one dragon, a world adventure. When Aragon finds a polished blue stone in the forest, he thinks it is the lucky discovery of a poor farm boy. Perhaps he will buy his family meat for the winter. But when the stone brings a dragon hatchling, Aragon soon realizes he has stumbled upon a legacy nearly as old as the Empire himself. Overnight, his simple life is shattered, and he's thrust into a perilous new world of destiny, magic, and power. With only an ancient sword and the advice of an old storyteller for guidance, Aragon, the fizzling dragon, must navigate the dangerous terrain and dark enemies of an empire ruled by a king whose evil knows no bounds. Can Aragon take up the mantle of the legendary dragon riders? The fate of the empire may rest in his hands. I've been curious about this book since my whole entire family, my 3 sisters and my mom, have read this series. So I'm hoping to get to it. And my last book I would like to get to is Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood. I've heard so much about this book on BookTube. and it's supposed to be like a cozy fantasy about a witch that is trying to get her spirits up because she is out of burnt out, pretty much, witch. And this is about, I believe her name is Belle or Belladonna Blackthorn. Balance been working on her beloved lunar books with protecting it from her toxic boss, who's running into the ground and all the while concealing her witchcraft from the non-witchies around her. Belle is burnt out. Perfecting the potential of her magic is the last thing on her mind. But when her 30th birthday brings a summons from her coven and a trial that tastes her worthiness as a witch, Belle risks losing her magic forever, with the month of October to fix things, and signs that dark forces may be working against her. Belle will need all the help she can get, from the woman in her life, from an unlikely mentor figure, and an invigorating, handsome watchman who's sworn to protect her. So hopefully, with all these books, I get to some of these books in the springtime. Please let me know in the comments below what you have on your spring TBR. And I hope you enjoy your books as much as I'm hoping to enjoy some of these books that are on my list for the springtime. I hope to see you next time. Bye!